Now recording is in progress. So guys, welcome on today's webinar. My name is Bartosz, and I will have this great opportunity to talk about GitLab backup best practices, how to implement those best practices, and even why GitLab should be backed up with some external tool. The presentation itself will take, I believe, maximum 45 up to 50 minutes, and it will be divided into like 2 sections. One will be more theoretical, during which I will say a few words about the company itself, about our heritage, about our experience, about the product itself, obviously about also best practices in terms of GitLab backup. And then I will switch to live demo, and hopefully I will be able to show you how easy it is to protect your GitLab environment, how fast you can elevate the security level of your GitLab ecosystem, and what should you do if some of your repositories, your projects will simply disappear because some, for example, data deletion or accidental removal of those data. What do you do if you need to recover the data? As I said, up to 45 minutes or 50 minutes, it should be enough. Obviously, feel free to ask me any question that will come to your mind. I suggest to ask those questions immediately, just to keep the context of the question. Obviously, at the very end of the presentation, there will be a Q&A session, but to be honest with you, I prefer to answer the questions right away, as I said, to keep the context of the question. So hopefully my screen is visible to you. Hopefully audio is okay. So I don't see any obstacles. So we can start. As I said, today we will be discussing GitLab backup best practices. What are the best practices? How to implement them into real life, and how easy it is to fulfill or to check all the boxes on your best practices list. My name is Bartosz. My name is Bartosz Jurga. I'm a member of Zopro family, of Zopro team, XOPERO. This is the name of the company that is the vendor of GitProtect at the same time. I'm member of Zopro software for 8 years now, I believe. And mostly I'm responsible for business development, as well as some pre-sales activities and customer success practices. So, to be honest with you, I'm the one who should you talk to about GitLab backup, and basically I'm the main contact here at Zopro Software in terms of protecting of DevOps ecosystem. When it comes to our company, when it comes to our heritage, when it comes to who we are, as I said already, we are Zopro Software, XOPERO, and we are on the market since 2009. We are a backup vendor. We produce and we provide multiple backup tools, multiple backup solutions. GitProtect is one of them, and this is like a diamond in our crown, because this is like I believe, most comprehensive and most reliable backup tool on the market right now that allows you to protect your GitLab ecosystems. As I said, we are on the market since 2009. We provide our backup tools for like multiple customers across the globe. Right now, our products, in plural, our products are available in 50 plus countries. And basically, the wallet of our satisfied customers is still growing. When it comes to GitProtect, when it comes to the main topic of our discussion, which is obviously GitProtect. GitProtect itself has been released around 3 years ago. And since that time, we managed to deploy, to implement such service to multiple customers from different branches, from different industries. And when it comes to the size of our customers, it's like full scope. So we do have like multiple implementations of GitProtect within like smallest customers, medium customers, as well as quite big players on the market. And as you can see on the screen right now, these are the like small percentage of our most prominent customers who use GitProtect to protect their intellectual property. So let's move to the main topic of today's webinar, which is best practice. But before we do that, let me explain why even GitLab should be protected with additional tool, with third-party application. Well, simply because it's not protected by the vendor, by GitLab itself. As you can see on the screen, there's a quote from GitLab subscription agreement that says customer is responsible for implementing and maintaining privacy protections and security measures for components that customer provides and controls. To make long story short, that means that GitLab is responsible for an account, a service that they provide you. But when it comes to data, when it comes to content of your GitLab organization, it's your business, it's your responsibility, and basically GitLab will not take any responsibility if you lose data, if your repo or project will be deleted accidentally or intentionally, if anyone will like simply wipe up all the projects and so on and so on. GitLab will say, hey, it's not our business, it should be done by you. And basically this is the main reason why customers should implement some backup tool for GitLab protection. And when it comes to GitProtect, GitProtect is able to protect not only GitLab, because we have like great experience with our customers, and we have like multiple customers who use GitLab as well as different Git platform like GitHub or Bitbucket, and they, for example, use both at the same time. And in addition, like 99% of the users also use Jira, and based on that, we decided to include all of those abilities into one solution, thanks to which you can protect not only GitLab repositories with metadata, but also Bitbucket repositories, GitHub repositories with metadata as well as Jira. So as you can see, GitProtect is a comprehensive solution for DevOps protection. But when it comes to GitLab and like basically GitLab backup best practices, to be honest with you, I'm able to talk about best practices for hours, but obviously we don't have much time today for doing that. So basically I decided to list out just few, in my opinion, the most important, the most crucial, the most effective best practices that definitely will help you to increase the security level of your GitLab ecosystem. So also I decided to divide those best practices into 4 sections, and backup performance is the first one I decided to include as a best practice. And within backup performance, I can definitely say that it's crucial, it's super critical to be sure that not only your repositories are protected, but also metadata. As I said, we are the backup vendor, so we develop our own source code, and we produce our own technology. And based on our own experience, we can easily say that sometimes metadata is even more important than repository or repositories itself. Also, this is super crucial, super important to be able to implement so-called golden rule of backup. What does it mean? The golden rule of backup says that you should keep at least 3 copies of your data in at least 2 locations, separate locations, and at least one of those 2 locations should be located outside your organization, outside your company, outside your environment. So even if, like, worst case scenario, your entire organization will be affected by some, I don't know, ransomware or similar threat, still one of your copy, one of your, for example, storage will be outside, will not be connected, will not be related to your main environment. So still you will be able to recover your own data from different location. How to achieve that? Well, the easiest way from our perspective, the easiest way is to set up the storage replication. So for example, you can make the one backup, like one single backup copy, for example, single copy per day or per hour, it's up to you. And then the copies will be replicated from one storage to another. So this is the easiest way to be sure that your copies are kept in several, at least 2 locations, including your local storage as well as cloud storage. So you can, for example, use your own, let's say, AWS S3 buckets, Azure Blob, or similar. And yeah, so let's jump to worst case scenario. So the situation when something really bad happened, some disaster, right? And let's assume that your GitLab environment, your GitLab account got compromised. Your GitLab organization is corrupted, or entire GitLab as a system, as a platform, is facing some outage. Probability is quite low, but still it's not equal to 0. Still, such situation happens from time to time. Quite rare, but still. So what do you do in such situation if your GitLab environment is not available, despite the reason? In our understanding, as a backup vendor, as a backup provider, in our understanding, the most effective way to get an access to your data and to remain productive is to be able to migrate your data from GitLab to, for example, GitHub or Bitbucket. So you can simply like move your repositories from your main environment. As I said, let's assume that your main environment is not responding, is not available, got corrupted, got hacked, has been affected by ransomware, for example, and be able to migrate your data to GitHub or to Bitbucket. This is like worst case scenario, but still, if such situation occurs, you need to have an answer to it instead of start looking for answers to the question, what do I do now? So like we call it cross restore. So the ability to migrate the data to different Git ecosystem. When it comes to like flexibility in terms of restore process, we decided to implement a functionality to our system that will allow you to restore any version you wish. So you are not obligated, of course you can, but you don't have to restore the latest version. You can simply, well, I know it's impossible to get back in time, but basically, thanks to GitProtect, you can get back in time and to recover, for example, I don't know, 1 week old version or 1 month old version, if you decide that this specific version this is something you are looking for. Another thing when it comes to disaster recovery and basically restore process and best practice is to be able to simply download your copy to your local device. In that case, you can use GitProtect and simply download your data from your own cloud, from the cloud that we provide, to your local device and use it as you wish. Obviously, restore process for a single repo is quite obvious, right? You, for example, delete by accident, you delete some single repo, and then you need to recover it to the same location. But like true journey begins if you have like hundreds or even thousands of projects of repositories, and your entire ecosystem becomes unavailable. So what do you do? What do you do next? What should you do? Well, definitely you should be able to recover like all the data that you need, or some selected ones. So we can make so-called bulk restore by selecting some repos that you desire at the very moment, and to recover it to indicated location. It can be the same GitLab organization, GitLab account, or it can be different GitLab account, or also it can be different Git vendor ecosystem, thanks to cross restore option. And when it comes to security, this is super hot topic. This is super important to know what kind of let's say security measures are implemented to GitProtect. Before I move any further, I can definitely say that GitProtect is the only vendor on the market right now that provides backup tool for DevOps and is compliant with both with ISO 27001 as well as SOC 2 Type 2. There is no other vendor on the market right now that is compliant with those two certificates, with those two regulations. That means that we do care about customers' data. But when it comes to best practice, the best practice is to obviously be able to protect data. This is like main point of backup tool, to protect data on every single step, every single stage. So how do we protect our customers' data? Or I should rather say how customers, thanks to GitProtect, they are guaranteeing that their data are well secured. Well, first of all, encryption. Super important, super critical functionality that should be implemented in every single backup tool. And such encryption, this is also very important, should be done, should be triggered, should be performed accordingly to your own encryption key. That means that you are the holder of an encryption key, you are the one who generates such an encryption key, and no one, literally no one except you, is able to recover the data. We do also have plans, and basically this is on our roadmap, to allow our users to integrate GitProtect with some external key vaults, like external password managers, like Azure Vault or AWS KMS. So all the encryption keys, all the secrets, and so on, all the confidential data will be kept outside GitProtect. This is like future mostly dedicated mostly to enterprise customers, but also some small and medium users will also see the value of such functionality. When it comes to encryption, this is also very important to know that entire system, entire GitProtect platform works accordingly to zero-knowledge encryption technology. What does it mean? It means that the device or the application that is performing the backup, we call it backup agent. Such backup agent doesn't have an access to the encryption key all the time. What does it mean? It means that while backup is being triggered, encryption key is delivered to backup agent. Backup agent says, hey, okay, I know the encryption key, I can encrypt data, I'm able to decrypt the data, and once backup or restore process is done, such encryption key is removed from the backup agent. That elevates the security level to the highest level, and I would say that this is like must-have functionality in terms of backup tool. Another thing that should be considered as a must-have is the ability to use your own IDPS service like Azure AD, Okta, CyberArk, anything that can be integrated over SAML, over SAML, thanks to which you can manage the access to the application in a more effective way. Because if your organization has already implemented such functionality, it can be transmitted to GitProtect as well. Obviously, I even shouldn't say that, but because this is quite obvious, but not always. Like notifications, we do have experience that our customers, they use, for example, their own scripts, their own tools for backup purposes. However, there is lack of one crucial functionality: notifications. So how do you know that the backup that your script, your tool is performing is done? How do you know that? And thanks to notifications that GitProtect provides, you can be sure that if backup is scheduled, it will be executed, it will be triggered. And what's more important, you also have an access to the information, to the details about like what is the result of such backup. If everything is fine, if everything is positive, or perhaps there are some warnings, errors, and so on. And such notifications should be sent, like should be delivered to end user in the most convenient way. I should say. And what does it mean? What does it mean that it should be delivered in the most convenient way? It's up to you how those notifications will be delivered. It can be email notification, it can be Slack notification. If you use Slack, you can also integrate it with GitProtect by generating webhook. And basically, you can integrate GitProtect with any, let's say, monitoring platform like Datadog, Splunk, over the webhooks. So all the notifications will be pushed over the webhooks to your selected destination. And when it comes to ransomware, this is also a hot topic, very hot topic, because like ransomware attacks, I don't know, every 11 seconds somewhere in the world, someone is affected by ransomware. And as I said, the main point, the main goal of backup tool is to protect data on every single step, including storage. What does it mean? It means that we have implemented some security measures that guarantees that even if data is stored on your own storage, we also take care about its security by allowing you to introduce immutable storage, warm storage as well. But the most easiest way to prove that data that is stored on the storage is ransomware proof is to try to recover data or try to get an access to the data directly from the storage. It's impossible because of compression, because of encryption. All data that is kept on the storage is kept in unexecutable format. So even if one of your colleague, one of your team member will include some executable file to the metadata, for example, as an attachment, and there will be some, for example, ransomware file included. Obviously, GitProtect will grab it, will send it to the storage, but it won't be executed because of compression, because of an encryption, and because of some other and different mechanisms that are happening in the background. Guys, basically, this is last slide, and right now I was about to move to demo, unless you have any question.
Thank you for the presentation. My first question is, what is the subscriptions model? Do we buy the tools or do we pay monthly fees?
Okay, so let me jump to gitprotect.io. This is the place where everything starts. And if we go to pricing, it's here. You can see that basically there are like 3 different billing models, but all of those models have one rule in common. It's monthly subscription. Mm-hmm. So month to month, you can manage the license. You can make the upgrade. If you need additional licenses, you can make the downgrade. If you don't need so many licenses, so you can make the downgrade. Or even you can jump from one billing model to another one if you need some additional features.
That's great. I understand. Thank you.
Okay, so let me go to sign up so I can show you how easy it is to set up an account and how fast you can start protecting your GitLab environment. So I just need to provide my email address. Everything is so small. Let me select the region where my service will be hosted.
Yeah, I think the region is really important for customers regarding where your data should be stored, right?
Yeah, for customers from Europe, from EU, we have a dedicated region which is located within European Union. To be exact, to be specific, we host our services in Netherlands. And for our customers from other parts of the globe, usually from United States, but also from Australia, South Africa, and some different locations. We have like another data center which is located in United States. But at the end of the day, it's your decision where your service will be hosted. You can select one out of two available regions.
Thank you.
And right now my account is being created. So we should be able to start using the service in just a few seconds. And I will show you how easy it is to integrate my GitLab account with my GitProtect service. And it's almost done. There we go. And not yet. And there we go. Right away, the system asks us what we would like to protect. Obviously, we are going to select GitLab. And basically, I can click proceed. So my GitLab account will be integrated with GitProtect after my approval, because I'm already logged into my GitLab account in the background, so I didn't have to approve it. I forgot to log out. But basically, let's say the integration process is very straightforward. So you just need to provide your credentials, like username, to GitProtect, so it can be integrated. As you can see, my GitLab account is added. It contains 37 repos, and I have in total 4 groups, because GitProtect protects not only repositories with metadata, but also groups and subgroups. And as you can see, my organization is not protected yet. So we need to change the situation, and we need to create a backup. And we can use one of so-called predefined backup plans. So backup policies, backup scenarios, whatever you will call it, just to make like entire process as smooth and as straightforward as possible. So let me, for example, select this one. And the backup will start automatically in 4 hours. Obviously, we are not going to wait these 4 hours. We are going to execute. We are going to trigger the backup manually. So let's trigger it as planned. Let's go to tasks, and we can see that backup is running. So backup is in progress. And we can also verify what is the status of it. Some repos are awaiting, some repos are currently being backed up. In the meantime, I will leave the backup. I will leave the backup running. In the meantime, let me open new tab, and I will add additional storage, because one of the best practice was the ability to create so-called replication plan, replication task. So I need to have like additional storage, because there is one storage already added. This is the storage that we provide by default. It's unlimited, but we also give the possibility to bring your own storage. So if you use, for example, your own AWS bucket or Azure Blob or anything else, feel free to use it. Personally, I'm using Wasabi account, so I will add my Wasabi. Obviously, I need to create some bucket, so let me do that really quick. It takes literally a few seconds. The backup is still in progress. So let's create a bucket. Let's call it GitLab webinar. Let's locate it in Amsterdam. Why not? Create a bucket. Bucket is here. And in addition, we need to create an access key. Let me copy it and paste it here. Let me jump back to GitProtect, and I need to provide some credentials. So let me paste my access key here. And as I said, GitProtect is equipped with so-called GitProtect password manager that keeps all the secrets, all data, or encryption keys, and so on and so on. So it's very convenient a way to use it, because you don't have to memorize all the secrets that you will be using. You can simply paste the secret key here. Let's call it Wasabi bucket. Let's save it. Let's select the region. It was Amsterdam, as far as I remember. And the bucket name was let's save it. And there we go. Additional storage is added. It took me like literally a few seconds to create a bucket and to add it to GitProtect. And as far as I see, my backup is already finished. It finished almost properly. I can also verify what happened, because as you can see here, there were some 2 warnings. I believe those warnings are related to the variables. Yeah, that's correct. But basically, thanks to this warning, you can see that GitProtect gives you the feedback after the backup. So if the backup is positive, that's fine. But if the backup is not positive, and there are some warnings, some errors, some failures, it also gives you the information about the nature of such warning. And as you can see here, repository permissions are not sufficient. So this is something I need to improve on my GitLab account. But when it comes to repo itself, it's protected. So I can be sure that if the repo will be deleted, for example, I will be able to restore it. So let's jump back here. And just before our meeting, I created very important repo. I made a typo here. There we go. And as you can see here, this specific repo is backed up. So right now let's assume that my repo will disappear. It will be deleted. So let me open my GitLab account. This is the one that I have already found in my GitProtect. As I said at the beginning, I'm using some dummy account, so the content of my repo doesn't really matter. I'm showing you only the steps. And settings, general, advanced, and the last option is to delete the project. I need to confirm it. And there we go. My project, my repo is deleted. So what do I do now? Well, obviously, I have my backup, right? So I have a copy. So how do I recover it? Basically, as I said, you can restore your single repo, multiple ones, or all of your repositories from the top to the bottom. So let me search for this specific repo. And if I synchronize my repo list right now, GitProtect will find out that this specific repo is missing. As you can see here, it's marked as deleted. So even if you didn't delete your data intentionally, but someone did, GitProtect will give you like clear information. This repo is missing. This repo has been deleted. So what do you do next? Well, it's quite obvious that GitProtect as a backup tool allows you to restore data. So it's quite straightforward to recover data. And this is quite important and interesting step, because here you can decide what will be the final destination. Obviously, we are going to recover deleted data to the same GitLab organization. But as I said a couple of minutes earlier, you can migrate your data to different Git vendor account, for example, GitHub or Bitbucket, right? So you can make the cross restore. This is a very useful feature, especially in situation if, for example, GitLab environment is facing some outage, long-term outage. My GitLab is not facing any outage, so I will recover my data immediately. And let's recover my repo with some custom name. Let's call it a very important repo -webinar and start now. Let's go to tasks. There it is. It should be, yeah, it's already finished. As you can see here, successfully finished. So let me refresh my repo list on my GitLab account to find out if a new repo is created, because due to security reasons, GitProtect never overwrites already existing data. We always create a new repo, even if the one that you are about to restore already exists. So as you can see here, the repo is created, so I can basically use it as I wish. When it comes to, let's jump back to dashboard, and here in the compliance section, we even suggest what are the best practices in terms of backup process. As you can see here, one of them is already checked: protection of all resources. What does it mean? It means that all of my resources, in that case, these are GitLab repositories, are protected. So I'm quite sure that even if tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I create new repo, such new repo will be automatically synced. It will be automatically included to protection, and I will have basically peace of mind because I don't have to memorize to include the new repo. It will be automatically included. Let me jump back to the dashboard, notifications and reports. Let's do that. Let's go to settings. Let's go to email notifications. One of the recipient is already added. This is my own account, but basically I can add multiple ones, multiple recipients that will receive the notification after the backup. Also, I can, for example, set up the daily reports and SLA reports. So the monthly, let me say, monthly review about SLA status. This is very important from the compliance perspective, from the auditor perspective. This is very important to be sure that such reports can be generated. So let me save it. There we go. And notifications and reports are already checked. So replication, what does it mean? As I said, it's a good practice to be able to replicate data to different storage. So you don't have to repeat all the backups over and over again to keep data in multiple locations. You can perform like one backup just like I did during this webinar. However, the data itself can be replicated from one storage to another. How are we gonna do that? It's quite easy. You just need to go here to replication plans. As you can see, it's blank, it's empty. So I will need to let's call it like that. We need to select what will be the source. So from where data will be replicated. It will be the storage that we provide that by default. And that when it comes to target, so the destination, the final destination of the replication process, this is the one. This is exactly the bucket I created a couple of minutes ago. So let me select it. Let's create a scheduler. Let's make it hourly. For example, I don't know, during night hours, right? One storage will be replicated to another. Let's save it. And it will wait until schedule comes. Let's jump back to dashboard. So protection of all resources checked. I'm protecting all of my repositories. Replication checked. Notifications and reports checked. Encryption. I didn't encrypt my backup. So let me go to plans. Let me do this. Let me edit it. Let me duplicate it. GitLab encrypted. Let's leave all the settings exactly the same. Let's enable the encryption. Let's provide encryption key, as I said. End user generates encryption key. So I don't have to memorize it. All the encryption keys will be kept in Password Manager. There we go. Let me save it. Save it. And let me deactivate the previous plan. And as you can see, replication is also checked, so I can be sure that all my backup plans are encrypted. So all data that will be covered with specific backup plan will be encrypted with AES algorithm. The encryption is here. Sorry for that. Not all my backup plans are encrypted. Let me do this. Let me remove it. Let me remove it. Let me remove it, and yeah, remove. Now I have only one backup plan, and in addition, it's encrypted. So encryption is checked, and SLA from last 24 hours, as the name suggests, it will be updated in next 24 hours. So this is GitProtect in a nutshell. It offers you a lot more, like audit logs, like ability to create additional admin users to split the responsibility for managing the system, and so on and so on. So as I said, this is GitProtect in a nutshell. I encourage you to visit gitprotect.io to sign up for a free trial. And I encourage you to start protecting your GitLab environment. So from my side, that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you. This is mesmerizing what GitLab Protect is doing. I have a question regarding the backup and the restore. It's really nice to see that I can back up a GitLab repository and restore it in GitHub. Are there situations where I edit the repository in GitHub, but then I want to have it back in GitLab?
Cross restore works in all the directions.
Okay. So a repository on GitHub would then be synchronized back and stored in GitLab.
You can, like, if you use GitLab as your main environment, you use GitProtect to protect your GitLab repositories. So you are given the possibility to restore your GitLab repository to your GitHub account, and all the way around. And
That's awesome.
and the same applies to Bitbucket. So basically, you can go in like many directions. You can migrate your Bitbuckets repo to GitLab, GitLab to GitHub, GitHub to Bitbucket, and like all the way around.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you. So if someone wants to contact you, what is the best way for contacting you, the company?
Best way to contact me is to drop me an email, which is here. We are based in Poland. We are located in Poland, so I believe time difference shouldn't be an issue. So yeah, that might be the best and the most convenient way to approach us. And obviously, I encourage you to visit GitProtect.io, where you can find like a bunch of additional details, information about GitProtect in general. Also, you can find some separate article about GitLab backup best practices. So if you would like to learn more about GitLab backup best practices, this is the perfect place where you should start.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure is mine.